We're gonna do show stuff on the show.
I mean, that's what we always do, right? We just
show stuff.
We just talk
we're
about the show.
hashing this out in real time.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of the pre-show, and that pre-show is brought to you always by. See, I got too many notepads.
Spinwiz Comics.
Spinwizcomics.com. Also, iOS and Android apps. Let's just play the damn commercial.
Play the damn video.
I lost the video.
But what do you mean you lost the video? That's such a nice video, and you lost it.
I found it. Damn right, it's a nice video. You know, I didn't make this. It actually looks awesome. That's right. Spinwizcomics.com. Also on iOS and Android. Free comics, y'all. Basically, that's what it is. iOS, Android. You walk around. You have nothing else to do, so you flip this on, and you can read like 400 plus comics. Just great stuff. Honestly, go check it out. I'm not even sure why you're listening anymore. This is the pre-show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. I have no news. All I have is a toy to talk about. But I figured we'd spend some time on Sean.
I got a couple things. But
I figured we'd spend some time on Sean Connery, talk about him for a
little
while.
That's the big news, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, man, wow. I didn't realize that dude was 90. I hope I aged that well. Holy crap.
Yeah,
holy crap.
To a nice, ripe old age.
But, yeah, we'll talk about that. I have food news. I have plenty of food news.
Glad to hear
that's good.
And more upbeat news, Mandalorian season.
We can talk about the first episode of Mando.
I have not watched it yet.
Oh, well.
Son of a bitch.
You can talk about it all you want.
Yes, new titles added weekly.
Spoilers don't bother me, really.
Oh, well, we will talk about it then. We will spoil the hell out of it.
Well, I guess the most spoilery thing about it is like in the first 10 minutes anyway.
Well, no, in the last 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. So I have to confess, I don't know who that was.
You don't know who? Honestly, the rumor and I guess everything that's happening. Well, we should talk about it.
Sure, yeah.
Talk about it when we get to the show.
Oh, and I guess the only other thing that's news that I was thinking about was apparently Oscar Isaac is going to be Moon Knight.
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that too. Good idea. Good idea. I want to talk about all the movies I saw. I wonder if I could just dump them in the chat. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll dump them in the chat before we get started. It might be too much.
It's also too late.
Much.
Like we've already gotten started. Officially.
No, it's in the chat now. I just put it in there. You could probably. Can you not see it?
Which chat?
Our chat? No, I don't see anything.
Oh, the private chat.
No, yeah, he put it in the main chat.
Let me put it in the private.
That's chat. A lot of movies, man.
It is a lot of movies, dude. It doesn't even hold them all in the private chat. Anyway, this riveting streaming is brought to you by spinwizcomics.com. We're going to get the show started in a second. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm glad. There weren't as many comics as I wanted to read this week, but man, next week is the week.
Well, that's common, right, for the last week of the month, usually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Usually they try to front load the months with all the big name books.
Exactly. All right, so let's get down to business on the pre-show, because also on the pre-show we talk about what we're going to be doing in the future. The Geekterion collection first episode went over so well that YouTube in certain countries and definitely Facebook just decided to tear it down. We don't even. It's too damn good. We can't have you competing with like NPR and TYT. So
they're gonna break the whole internet. We have to
break
the internet before they get too big.
But the next one, TBD. The next one, TBD, is going to be The Matrix.
Yep, it's gonna be fun. This one was chosen by Gomer.
Yeah, and Adam's going to choose the next one, which he's already chosen.
Yeah.
Gremlins for December. It's going to be great. But the top 5 comic book movies not in the MCU that we did on the 27th was a damn good time. You guys should really go back and check out the stream of it, Adam. Because your ass is supposed to be here.
I told you I was going to be there.
It was great. It was a really good time with the comic book bullies. And Jules got to have the full feel of the whole comic book bullies, phenomenon.
Oh, I bet he did. I bet he loved it.
So I have to know, what was Jules's rankings? I'm genuinely curious.
Oh, dude, he picked ones. Well, you need to go watch it, I guess. But he picked ones like really classy. ones like Crumb. I think you picked Crumb.
I'm
Okay.
sure History of Violence was in there.
History of Violence was in there. I think that was his number one. History of Violence. He picked a lot of like monocle polish, fucking Better Than You sort of picks. So,
That's what he does, man. That's why I love Jules.
Yeah, it was very fun. I was talking mad shit the whole time.
I bet
It was
you were.
great. It was a really
He's
good
great.
time.
He takes it so well.
Yeah, but the next top 5 we do, again, TBD, is top 5 graphic novels and trade paperbacks. I think Taylor was wanting to get in on that as well.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
It's going to be impossible to talk shit on Taylor's picks because he just picks damn good comics that it's hard to argue with. Maybe I can argue with where he puts them.
Yeah, you might be able to argue with the placement, but
like I can't believe you love that more than you love this. That sort of shit.
Not bad.
So, yeah.
Well, we already were talking about I probably wouldn't put Watchmen at number 1, and you were already shitting on that.
Oh, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So we're already there. We're already there. All right, let's get the show started. Again, this has been the pre-show brought to you by spinwithcomics.com. Also on iOS and Android, they're adding new comics every day. So go up there and check them out. Let's find a fun video. Here it is. This sort of fits us. I think I already did this one.
Oh, yes. I hate this. It is revolting.
More?
Please.
That's all you jokers watching right now. More? You got more. I think we should talk about horror movies first.
I will say, though, that thing with Data is genuinely clever. I always like to it.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Data's the best, man. Even early Data, but they didn't quite have it nailed. It's still, cool, very
Well, there's something I was kind of considering for a while. I'm not sure who I would book as my favorite Star Trek character ever, but it might actually be Data.
Nog from Deep Space Nine.
I don't know Deep Space Nine as well, so I can't really.
Dude, his arc is so awesome. There's so many moments there. Data would be a damn close second. Greetings, geeks. We're back. It's this Geek and Comics Outright Geekeries comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show.
I am your co-host Gomer. With me, as always, co-host Adam Normal, co-host Taylor, who's now the permanent fourth wheel. I think I'm the third wheel, but AKA David will be back eventually. I hope someday. But I'm gonna go over this list. This is the first segment 1 where we talk about what we've been doing this week. Well, let's get this out of the way. This came in.
Oh, wow.
My
Okay.
Optimus Prime themed My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
I've been waiting on this for a few weeks.
Backdoor into being a brony. I got you.
It is. Great
That's
box
why
art.
that's probably the exact reason they released it. They realized that Transformers energy and Brony energy is barely separated. They're trying to bridge that gap, that very
great
narrow
box
gap.
art. That's great box
Right.
art. They did a crossover and in the comics, which was very good. So
I'm genuinely happy for you, man. I'm glad
thank
you got
you.
it. Does it have a pun name? Because I remember back in the day we were looking at all the Mr. Potato Heads with terrible pun names.
No, not really, dude.
We got a similar thing going on here.
No.
No, that's actually
they're not
disappointing.
creative.
Yeah, not very clever.
They don't have the big brains of the Mr. Potato Head people, I guess.
yeah. The Mr. Potato Head floor over at Hasbro. That's where all the brainiacs.
We were
hang
talking
out.
with Larry about it back in the day, and there's a shocking number of these awful Mr. Potato Heads with their terrible puns.
Terrible spud names, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Masher Yoda, Darth Tater.
No, that's not good. All right,
Yeah,
I
that's
wonder
a
if I
thing.
could just share the list because I don't want to go through all these. So let me try to share my list. Hold on. See if it works. That's terrible.
Oh, that's not
That one's
great.
better.
Okay.
Let me try to make this bigger.
Okay. We'll watch you do notepad over here. This is even like Word.
There we go.
I can
That's
read
good,
it now.
right? That's good.
Okay.
All right,
Is The Fly a horror movie?
dude, what?
It totally is a horror movie.
It is
yeah.
totally a horror movie.
A science fiction horror movie.
Dude, that
guess.
scene
But-
where she gives birth to the maggot scarred me for life. For
Right?
life.
He eats people in that movie, doesn't
dude,
he?
he eats well, I don't know if he full on eats it.
Well, yeah, he regurgitates, and
on a donut. He's like, oh, sorry.
He dissolves people in that movie.
That's how I eat now. Hubie Halloween is stupid. Adam Sandler on Netflix. Halloween 2018.
That's actually not that bad. Yeah,
not bad at all. Brightburn. We've talked about Brightburn. That's the evil Superman when he's a little boy. He needed Professor X. Jennifer's Body, dude, underrated, man.
It got a lot of shit when it first came out, but it's really not that bad.
It's actually quite good. Hellboy.
Yeah, it's a horror action movie. It's okay.
I would exactly, Taylor. I could argue against Hellboy being a horror movie.
Very vaguely a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's got horror aesthetics. I wouldn't actually call it a horror movie.
It does. Aliens, definitely a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, Alien is more a horror movie than Aliens.
Yeah, we've had this talk before. And
but it still has horror elements in it.
There is a lot more action in Alien.
I guess Alien is more almost a traditional slasher horror movie, just,
sure,
less paranormal and more sci-fi.
Sure. Chainsaw Massacre.
Which one is that one? Is that one the
Jessica Biel one?
Jessica Biel one? Okay.
Yeah. She's so hot in that. Fantasy Island, that new
Fantasy Island.
I heard that was terrible.
It's terrible. It's so bad. It's just bad, dude. It's just bad. Silence of the Lambs, going back with a finer tuned eye for film and watching Silence of the Lambs, dude, that thing is a freaking masterpiece.
It's a great movie. I just watched it like a week ago.
When it comes to communicating like suspense just through the camera, like when you realize that she's at the door of the guy, you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just, the bottom drops out.
Also, that's just great dialogue too.
Yeah, great dialogue. Green Room, a surprise hit.
Is fantastic.
Oh, dude.
It is a dirty, gritty movie, but it's great.
Dude, Patrick Stewart plays the leader of a bunch of Nazis in the backwoods, and this punk band who plays there just to try to make a little bit of money, almost accidentally, sort of plays there, witnesses a murder, and holy crap, dude, it turns into this wicked, crazy hostage sort of. Oh, it's so rad. It was so fun to watch. The Comic Book Bullies turned me on to that. Eli over there. Pet Sematary 2019. Carrie 1976, classic. We watched all the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors.
Some are better than others.
Eventually
they run out of horror movies to spoof, and they just start spoofing random things.
True.
Paranormal. They went pretty deep into the bench with the horror movies too. They even did like AI at one point.
Oh, dude! But they sent Bart away and kept the robot because he was better than
Bart. Like you
do. That would be me. I'd be keeping the robot. Paranormal Activity, still classic. I love it. The Fourth Kind, a little underrated, but it's got some crazy good moments in it. Army of Darkness, The Thing.
So it's The Thing, and
probably
Nightmare
the
on Elm
best
Street.
horror movie ever made. The Thing.
Definitely. The Thing is my
wonderful.
favorite movie, bar none.
It's wonderful. The original Nightmare on Elm Street. And then we just went crazy into Paranormal Activity, me and the amazing Amanda, and we watched all of them.
You start one, you got to watch all of them because it's all connected.
I'm glad we did it this way, dude. They're all connected in very kind of unique, innovative ways, Then we watched Friday the 13th Part 2, and it was all right. We watched The Grudge 2020. And then I realized we watched The Grudge 2, and I was like, wait, The Grudge 2.
You watched the bad one, so that you were like, oh, well, we should go watch the good one.
Yes. And, oh, man, The Grudge is so cool. I Know What You Did Last Summer, just stupid.
Classic 90s cheese.
Jessica Love Hewitt in her prime. Yeah. Event Horizon, probably my favorite horror movie, too. One of my favorites. Oh, man. So it brings in that Satan shit into sci-fi in just the perfect way. Fright Night, classic. Children of the Corn, classic. Yep. The Dream Master, I actually wanted to watch Dream Warriors, but we didn't have it.
You don't have Dream Warriors? Dream Warriors is the best one. Dream Master's okay.
We have it on DVD.
Is Dream Master the one with Super Freddy in it?
Yes. He's Super Freddy. He goes back and murders all the Dream Warriors like in the first 10 minutes.
He does. Yes, it ruins. Yeah.
Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, probably the worst sequel I've ever seen. It's so bad. It's so terrible. April Fool's Day, again, a classic. I had never seen it. April Fool's
really?
Day. I'm just going to spoil it for you. It's about this girl who's running like a bed and breakfast, but it's themed where you go through like a murder with your friends and they play it on their friends unknowing to them or you, the audience. So you think it's just your typical sort of cabin in the woods slasher, but it turns out that it's this big joke at the
It's
end.
just a bed and breakfast. Yep.
Yep. Maximum Overdrive, one of my favorite.
Oh man, Maximum Overdrive. Oh god.
Stephen King.
Stephen King's one and only directorial effort on film.
He should do it again. He should do it again.
No, he shouldn't. The first time
Dude.
he left a man blind because he was doing so much cocaine.
It's okay. You have to get the job done. All right.
They totally did.
The Stephen King thing that Stephen King directed isn't even in the top 3 Stephen King movie adaptation.
It's not. It's got a special place in my heart, man. I love.
Said Emilio Estevez in there.
I
Emilio
love
Estevez is just a classless, timeless, dude.
I watched Young Guns the other day too. Young Guns 1 and half of 2.
Half of 2.
Half of 2. Yeah.
That's all it's worth watching. Of
2 does not age as well as the first one does. The first one seems like an actual honest to goodness Western. The second one feels almost like a Knight's Tale version of a Western. It's like trying to be edgy. And Jaws, of course, annual.
Oh yeah. Classic.
It's probably the best slasher movie ever. That's not really a slasher movie.
Man, so my Halloween really took a weird turn because I didn't really watch any horror movies. I ended up watching Sean Connery movies all day. On Halloween.
Yeah. I watched The Last Crusade Saturday.
Yeah, I watched Highlander. I watched The Rock.
Nice.
Watched a couple of James Bond movies.
Nice. Well, let's get into that. Let's just talk about, because that's part of our news.
Yeah.
I'll do the news thing. Hold on. Let me do that. Sean Connery. So he died 90 years old. Probably everybody's, I would say at least their second favorite James Bond.
Oh, he's my favorite.
I'm a Pierce Brosnan.
I was asked this actually yesterday.
His movies just aren't good enough, though.
I like his movies, man. They're the right amount of cheese for me, dude.
I don't know.
Steve, I think it's
go ahead.
I was just thinking about, somebody asked me yesterday, like, was he your favorite James Bond? And I actually didn't know how to answer it because all of my favorite James Bond movies are not his. But
he's the quintessential James Bond.
Yeah, he probably
can almost say that.
You could I still might think of him as the best James Bond, though. He's definitely the definitive James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy of mine said the other day, dude, he ain't even British. And I'm like, he ain't Russian either, but have you ever seen Hunt for Red October? Because that shit is dope.
The James Bond movies he's like one of those actors who became like such a name. He never did an accent in any of the movies. He was Spanish in Highlander.
He was
Spanish in Highlander.
He's Patrick Stewart playing a fucking Frenchman. You know what I mean? He doesn't try either. He doesn't do anything in Star Trek.
Fair enough.
We just imagine that Britain finally invades France sometime in the 22nd century.
There's a lot of 90s and early 2000s movies like that, right? Where any European just has a British accent. But in Enemy at the Gates, you have Jude Law and all the other British guys defending Stalingrad. And you have I saw a movie with Ian McKellen, where Ian McKellen was the head of the Gestapo for the French Revolution.
Yeah, dude. Why?
Never changed his British accent.
Only in America does that shit work, dude. Hold on, in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, this motherfucker from Indiana. Yeah. He's from Indiana. He's got a Scottish accent. What's going on? What? And why does your kid sound nothing like
never changes his accent? He was King Arthur in that movie with Richard Gere where he was Lancelot. Yes. He was still super duper Scottish. Yes. And there's I remember this one line where he's the long judge you, and he's it was the most Scottish sounding thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, that's funny. But I'd have to say, Hunt for Red October, Highlander.
Man, The Rock for me is.
The Rock's cool.
I love The Rock. That is such a great.
Yeah.
We give Michael Bay so much shit for his Transformers movies, but that movie, that is Michael Bay done right.
Sean Connery is the only reason you should watch the movie Time Bandits.
Oh no, Time Bandits is dope. Dude.
Time Bandits is a classic.
Great.
For me, it's 99% the reason you should watch it is Sean Connery.
But again, back to 007.
Well, he very much embodied James Bond, and every Bond that came after was an interpretation of him.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan. He defined the role in every sense of the word.
Yeah, 100%, and he'll be missed. I have a friend whose mom is 100% Scottish, dual citizenship, and Sean Connery was a big advocate for Scottish independence. And yeah, they're like mourning like really hard over there because he would do like free commercials and stuff, for Scottish independence. But okay, whatever. Who's else got news?
Netflix is going up $1.
Oh, I hate that news.
Damn it.
Yep.
Hate that,
sucks.
dude.
Shouldn't they have more money than ever? Shouldn't they have gotten a huge shot in the arm with subscribers after the pandemic started?
Subscribers did go up for them and have been steadily going up. But there's more competition now than ever.
There's more competition, and Netflix hasn't been making great moves lately. They're canceling shows left and right. They're not finishing stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well,
they sort
on
of
the one
gave
hand,
up
it's kind of a shame if there's like a show you kind of like at least a little bit, and they will cut that bait really, really quick. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't fault them for prioritizing the stuff that's like a super hit.
Well, and that's what regular TV does, quote unquote regular TV, cable network TV or whatever. They prioritize shows and
right,
stuff like
but
that.
Netflix's model was based off of repeat viewing, and I'm not gonna repeat view anything that doesn't have an ending.
Yeah. I'm concerned because they're losing everything, right? They're going to lose a lot of their NBC stuff's all going over to the Peacock, which you can watch for free with commercials.
Peacock's great. I like Peacock.
Cool, dude.
I love Peacock.
We got it just because of hey, they have not 30 Rock, Parks and Rec.
Man, I watched Rush Hour on it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have nothing to lose by
exactly. Yeah, we are not sponsored.
I've been thinking about firing it up and watching old episodes of West Wing or something that's been off the air for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really cool for stuff like that. But what does Netflix have to offer in terms of what a lot of people were using it for? Just to rewatch old shit all the time. Really, the only thing pulling you to these streaming services now are their exclusives. Would I have Disney Plus if it wasn't for Mandalorian? Yes, because of Hamilton. But those are both exclusives.
Mm-hmm. I have Disney Plus just for all the MCU movies.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
MCU and Star Wars. Yep.
Well, that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, NBC pulling their shit, especially The Office, is probably bad for Netflix. But really, this house of cards was tumbling down when Disney started pulling all the Star Wars, Marvel, and now Fox stuff.
Sure. And that's the thing, man. When HBO Max was launched, they're like, no, or not even launched, even when they were talking about it, we're going to have shows that are in the DC universe. Before Disney Plus was, released, no, we're going to have shows in the Star Wars universe and in the MCU. Netflix doesn't have that.
It doesn't have anything anymore.
It doesn't have that
synergy. Marvel stuff.
You're not going to be able to do an Irishman show, okay?
It doesn't have any of its cool stuff anymore.
Netflix doesn't have any.
It had Stranger Things, but that's kind of ending. It's kind of coming toward its end.
Now let's talk about the other big boy on the block, Amazon. They do have that in the pipeline. They got this Lord of the Rings show, and they're already talking that they want spinoffs. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try to turn that into their big draw. I don't know, dude. The money they're throwing behind that in terms of production, it's going to look great. But
I'm sure it'll be cool. But
you're a beloved, lover.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I love Lord of the Rings.
Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies are my favorite movies.
Yeah,
they are probably they're probably up there on my favorite.
I'm pretty sure
list.
Peter Jackson is involved at least in production.
That would definitely pique my interest a lot more. But
there's a lot of lore there, dude.
There is, yeah. There's plenty to go off of. But if we're going Silmarillion stuff,
That's where it's going
No.
off of.
Yeah.
That is what it's pulling from.
That's gonna be.
I mean,
rough,
what else
dude.
is there's not that much material.
Original stuff in the universe.
I'm just saying, like,
I
okay,
don't,
so
I don't care about
the
original stuff.
the only books like Tolkien ever actually put out there were Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and then the Silmarillion, like a collection of his like lore notes that they ended up like binding together and publishing that way.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of official material for them to draw on, honestly, and we've already had the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
What else can you do?
Recently. Yeah.
Yeah, what else can you do? But in that same vein, half of The Hobbit was made up.
That's true, and that's the half of The Hobbit everybody hated.
It was cool.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Dude,
that,
it was cool to see that on
made
screen.
It bloated,
It
made the movie mediocre.
I have a mixed opinion about the stuff they added in for the movies.
I think the second movie is really good, and then the other two are just okay.
My favorite of the three is the first one.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
The singing, man, the music gets me every time.
Genuinely, I hated it whenever they sat down and sang in the books. I thought, okay, Tolkien, you wrote some damn poetry. I get it. But then, like, when they did it in the movie, it actually was pretty cool.
Right.
But in the second movie,
Tolkien does write a lot of poetry.
Them adding in, like, the romance subplot and their, like, big battle escape from Mirkwood, that's bad. I did not care for that addition. I feel like that just added unnecessarily back. But then there's other stuff they added. Was like, okay, this is actually probably a pretty good idea. Like them having a big battle with Smaug in the Lonely Mountain. That's a good idea, actually, because in the book, Smaug doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
Smaug just has one conversation with Bilbo.
He's
and then he flies out and like immediately dies.
Yeah,
like Tolkien was like leaning really heavily into us already accepting at face value that dragons are big and dangerous. But, come out, decades and decades later where we've got like dragon overload. You need to do more to like sell us. Okay, Smaug is a big deal. Like these dwarves dumped like a mountain of molten gold on him and it didn't do anything.
That was in the second movie, yeah.
Yeah, so adding that, I thought, was good. It showed that there is nothing these dwarves can do to hurt this dragon. That they should be very scared of it.
So I don't know what they're going to do for the Amazon show, but again, I am excited about it. You know what would save any streaming service? If they paid for a Nintendo universe. Come on, man. A Zelda show, Mario show. We link up for
I don't know if
I love Zelda games. I love Mario games. I don't know that
Nintendo is a very mixed bag, and it's usually very negative when it comes to, translating to film and TV.
Yeah, I know.
They've had nothing but failure so far, and adapting it to other media.
All right, next news. Since we're talking streaming services and TV shows, Taylor.
Oh yeah, apparently Oscar Isaac is going to be Moon Knight.
That's dope.
I don't know that that's official, but apparently it's like 99% official.
Well, remember they announced whatever her name is for She-Hulk, and then she came out and said, "Nah, I'm not She-Hulk." What? Tatiana Maslany or whatever from Orphan Black.
Yeah.
Watch Orphan Black.
I don't know where they ended up landing on that. Is she She-Hulk or is she not? Do we still not know? Does
Oscar Isaac's awesome.
I love Oscar Isaac, even though Apocalypse was not that great.
I don't blame Oscar Isaac for that, though.
For what?
For X-Men Apocalypse being garbage.
I thought he did okay as Apocalypse.
He did fine. Yeah,
he was fine.
Generally across the board, the acting wasn't the problem with that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so as Moon Knight. So
Moon Knight, I think, could be a fun character for an actor to.
I think he could do crazy well.
Yeah, I mean, he would probably end up being several personas. We've got
at least 3, probably.
Yeah. Did you guys ever read that Jeff Lemire Moon Knight run from a couple years ago?
That was a great run.
That was great. Anyone who hasn't read that, I highly recommend it. It's good shit.
Is that's the quintessential Moon Knight?
That's my favorite Moon Knight run I've ever run, but admittedly, I'm not a Moon Knight connoisseur or anything.
Yeah, me neither. All right. Anything else before I get into food news?
No, go.
It's back.
Oh, the McRib.
Oh, the McRib. That's not news.
It is news. This is the first time since 2012 when it's going like nationwide when it comes back December 2nd. So, yeah, there you go. The McRib is back. I get mine without onions.
I could have sworn they do the McRib every year. You're telling me they haven't done it in like 8
I
years?
think it's nationwide.
Oh.
Okay, well, we get it every year.
Loophole. All right,
Okay.
last bit. This is awesome. Cinnamon Toast Crunch Milk
Oh
Huh.
gosh, that
has
sounds
been announced.
fantastic and terrible at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know whether to think that that's good or bad. I am genuinely
get me wrong.
split about 50-50 on this.
I do enjoy drinking the milk after I eat a bowl of cinnamon
That's
toast
what
crunch.
this is.
And that is exactly what this is. But I don't know if I want an entire like gallon of that.
No, not a gallon. It's just gonna in a single serve, a gallon.
Mhm.
A gallon of no, I don't want a gallon of it either. So yeah, there's your weekly food news. Tell a friend. You want to do a moment of destruction? That's the long one. We don't want to do the long one.
Why do you keep putting in the long one, man?
I don't know. I keep hitting the long one. All right. Where do you want to start, bro? Where do you want to start?
Shit, man. Let's start with galaxies. Let's get that shit out of the way.
Brandon Easton, Andrew Griffith, Victory Leo showed up.
Yeah, Victory Leo. Haven't seen Victory Leo in I don't know how long.
I don't think he was ever in any of the IDW.
No,
stuff.
he wasn't in any of the IDW. At least not in any of the Phase 2.
He's like
stuff.
Star Saber's homeboy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
very cool.
Yep.
Sound Blaster makes an appearance along with Alpha Trion. Yeah, great work, Magnus. You accomplished nothing.
Yeah, this
in
is a
terms of
really
your
weird
mission.
issue. So Ultra Magnus is looking for Alpha Trion, and he finds a ship, and he thinks it's Alpha Trion's ship, but it's not Alpha Trion's ship. It's Octane's ship. So he just tortures Octane for a little bit for information that leads him nowhere. He gets jumped by Spinster again. Then, Victory Leo shows up out of nowhere. And then
Lame.
all of a sudden, Alpha Trion shows up out of nowhere.
He's like, oh, Magnus.
Ultra Magnus did nothing to find him.
So stupid.
He
I
was
was not
so
a fan.
dumb.
I'm not a fan of that at all.
Hey, Andrew Griffith's art looks fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm
the
glad
art was
he's
great.
back.
Yeah. But
Story's-
yeah, the story's
story's
just
trash,
garbage. Transformers 84, Secrets and Lies #4, Simon Furman, Guido Guidi. Great art. But again,
Fantastic art.
story's dated. Typical 80s style action comic. We saw how Impactor lost his hand.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I actually noticed that. Like, Impactor showed up, and I was like, he's got both hands. And then, he's going to lose his hand. Hunger eats it off, by the
Yes.
way. Good, not great. That art is really the reason.
Yeah, that art is definitely the seller on this one. The story definitely wasn't that great. It was just like the Wreckers on their first mission blowing up some random Decepticon base for some random ass reason.
That's what they
And
do.
And then on
Wreckers.
Earth, Grimlock was fighting the body of Megatron that was possessed by AI of some
So
sort.
weird. So weird.
I don't know. And then at the end, Grimlock commits suicide because that's what Grimlock does.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
He'll be back. Finally, on Moment of Destruction. Oh, man. G.I. Joe #9, Paul Aller, Ryan Kelly.
Oh, man. I totally missed this week. I
Dude.
can't believe I did that.
All right. This follows Tunnel Rat as he goes on a mission and he recounts losing everybody else on the mission.
Oh, no.
It's
That sounds
heart-wrenching, dude.
amazing. I can't believe I missed this.
Very well written. It's got a lot of heart and sacrifice. There's a panel where he meets up with Shipwreck at the end. And he tells Shipwreck, "No, I'm the only one." And Shipwreck's just drawn, just depressed and like, shocked.
Oh, man.
Not the art I'm used to with Ryan Kelly, but damn good. I can't believe
I read all the shit and I didn't
know.
read the actual good book.
All right, let's get to
I
the. We're getting into it now. Dun, dun. Ten of Swords, Stasis #1, Teeny Howard, Jonathan Hickman, Mahmoud Asrard, and Pepe Larraz.
Now we're into the real meat of this event.
Yeah, this could have been. This shows us that the first 10 issues of this 22-part event could have been a single issue, as Hickman literally introduces us to all of the sword bearers of Arakko. Like 1 or 2 pages.
Well,
Yep,
I mean, there were plenty of these like setup issues they were doing in the last few weeks that were definitely good reads in their own right.
Oh,
But-
sure.
But as far as
there's
like,
not enough history or really anything to go off of with these new characters to warrant them having, their own issue each, like the
Yeah.
heroes did,
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Really
Bogger seems cool. I don't know that I want to watch him going off and getting his sword.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Since he already had it anyway.
Yeah, right.
But yeah,
the
this was
cards,
definitely a fun
dude.
read.
The tarot cards at the end that all match up.
Mm-hmm.
Two different mutants. I think the most compelling one was Cypher's, because it's exactly what I call that. Red Root the Forest and Cypher are going to have some sort of relationship.
Yeah, she
that's
does
what the
seem
Two
like
of
his
Cups
opposite
is.
number. Yeah, she speaks for Rocco the way he speaks for Krakoa. So
They both speak
It's
that
going to be an
same
interesting confrontation, you know.
Yeah.
They're
It's very interesting matchups. I think we know a whole lot more about the bad guys. They all seem really cool, dude.
yeah, they came with a lot of really cool characters. Okay, so I noticed that Annihilation is blocked out there. Were they really expecting it to be some sort of big goddamn reveal that it's Genesis?
I don't think so. There's no way Hickman's not going to telegraph something like that and not have there be.
That was like the big like.
They made it seem like it was supposed to be a big reveal at the end, and it totally was. And
it only surprised Apocalypse. It only surprised Apocalypse.
Yeah, because Apocalypse hasn't had our bird's eye view, I guess. But anyone reading this who was surprised that Annihilation was Genesis the whole time
has not been paying attention.
Not really, no.
Has not read a comic book at all.
Yeah.
Ever.
The idea that Gorgon got a card that he couldn't see, he's dying, dude. He's going to get murdered.
I really liked Gorgon in this issue, though.
Me too.
I like Hickman writing Gorgon. I like the whole ridiculous and normally I'd be bored to tears by all this murder and bloodshed, but hey, they specifically called out my two swords, so hey, that's kind of interesting.
My two swords. My favorite panel of the entire issue was this one here.
Oh yeah, with his plumage.
Some continuity with Hellions there, yeah.
So good, so smart.
That's a good attention to detail.
Yeah. And we also got some fun politics with the whole Otherworld.
Man, I like seeing all the other worlds. I like that in Fury World. There was a really cool Captain Britain run that Alan Moore did back in the day, where the bad guy was the Fury, and he looked exactly like those guys.
Oh, awesome!
It was really awesome.
I don't think I've ever read that.
You should.
It's
a really good run. Yeah,
everything
Jim Jaspers,
you said in that sentence, I love. Alan Moore,
Captain Britain,
Britain.
Mad Jim Jaspers is also the other villain of that run.
Oh, cool!
It's great too. Yeah.
So it's so cool that, man, I can't wait. So we're still sure that it's going to be like Mortal Kombat, like we're all going to these lands to fight.
That's what it looks like at this point.
Even though Mercator doesn't allow anybody in there.
I don't know what's going on with Mercator.
It's cool. It's cool.
That might be the whole Deus Ex Machina at the end of this event.
What's her name? Gia Whitechapel from whatever, the Blight Lands or whatever the hell. Oh, man. Big ass gun, like all steampunk.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. There's so much room there. They could do an entire series just on that shit.
Like all the background and side characters and like all the opponents and everything, they have done a great job making them genuinely intriguing.
And they're going like the Darth Vader route. Like it's almost like less is more.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like the less you know, the better they are. We never talked about the Mandalorian. Speaking of Star Wars.
Oh, right.
That was Boba Fett at the end.
Spoil it for frickin' Adam.
That was Boba Fett at the end.
Was it?
He looked just like a clone. That was the actor who played, his daddy and the clone.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know who else it would be. Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, he was driving off with Boba Fett's armor there, so that is an interesting idea.
Right. Awesome. Well, no more Ten of Swords. Let's. I'll go first this week because it's going to be easy.
Actually, sorry, real quick about Mandalorian, though. I just wanted to point out that Timothy Oliphant's character was a real delight, and I do hope we see more of him in the future.
I love Timothy Oliphant.
He's commercial. Yeah.
Justified is a great show.
Like, he's one of those actors where it's like every time I see him show up and stuff, like, oh, I'm more interested than I was before.
Exactly.
I don't know how he does it. He's just a charming dude.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever seen the show Justified?
Mm-hmm.
I am not, actually.
It's a fantastic show. You definitely need to watch it.
He was playing in The Mandalorian. Is that same? Basically,
is it?
basically that same character, not to
I
typecast.
definitely need to watch this episode.
But our top three fave comics of the week. I'll go first. My number 3 was Tennis Stasis. Number 1. Teeny Howard, Jonathan Hickman, Malcolm Nazar, Pepe Larraz. Typical Hickman giving us exactly what we need when we needed it. I'll do a shout out to Death Metal Rise of the New God number 1. Good, not great. It kind of got bogged down with this new character, Chronicler, who is part of the Omniverse, and he's like the watcher of the Omniverse. Just kind of weird. But also Department of Truth number 2, James Tynion the Fourth with Martin Simmons. Conspiracy thriller all about conspiracy theories. And it's quite good. The art is love it or hate it, and I kind of like it. So, that's my number 3 pick. Tennis Sword Stasis still going strong.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited. I do not think an X book is going to make my top 3 next week.
There
are so many damn good books next week.
That's interesting.
Number 3. Let's go, Adam. Go ahead, Adam.
All right, so honorable mentions. Rise of the New Gods, number 1. Yeah, you're right. It was good, not great. It was fun watching the Darkest Night and Perpetua beat the shit out of each other with worlds and stuff.
They would grab a moon and bash it up.
But it definitely got bogged down with this chronicler guy. The story got very meta, and they got a little too self-congratulatory towards itself.
Oh, is it going up its own ass?
Yeah, a little bit DC's a little, just like a calm down comic book.
There was let me see if I grab that. There was a backup story in that.
It did have a great Green Lantern backup story.
Yeah, that was by Brian Hill and Nick Varela.
Mm-hmm.
This was the last page of that. These are all of the refugees of different universes that have died, and they're
incarnate.
Yeah, and they're hanging out in the Bleed, which is the dimension
space between universes.
Yeah. So they got a lot of cool characters. Captain Carrot. They got Batgirl from that one universe. She's cool. But that'll be interesting if they all get Green Lantern rings,
right?
Which is what it looks like they're doing.
But I said, that one was just an okay book. My other honorable mention would be Justice League Dark number 27. It was a fun beat 'em up issue. The art was really nice, but not much depth to it. But still, really good book. Just not great. But my number 3 book this week was Heavy number 2 from from Vault Comics with Max Bemis and Eric Donovan. Not as great as the first issue, but still pretty good. This one, there's some growing pains between the Heavy and his new partner, who back when they were both alive was the guy who sold the Heavy and his wife out to the mob who killed them. So it's funny because in the beginning of this issue, they just start beating the shit out of each other, and they go to stop them. The people in charge go to stop them, but then they're like, "Oh well, why not? They're already dead. They're not going to do anything to each other." So they just let them beat the shit out of each other, and they're in a timeless space. So eventually they just get tired because the heat just can't beat the shit out of them forever. So eventually they just kind of grow to accept each other being around. But in this issue, they go to a dimension where STDs have never occurred. There's no such thing as STDs, so everybody's all fucking each other all over the place. But there is a time terrorist who goes to this dimension, and he introduces an STD to the population, which causes everybody who catches it to explode and transform into a gigantic cum monster that starts destroying the city.
Bemis is nuts, dude. He's nuts.
I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just a crazy. The visuals are fantastic. I love Eric Donovan's art. It's just a crazy thing to look at. But yeah, not as great as the first issue, but still just a real fun read.
Nice.
Definitely recommend it.
Especially on a short week.
Yeah,
that is a sentence I never thought I'd hear, so it does have that going for it. Yeah. They explode into a giant cum monster that destroys the city. Man.
Taylor, honorable mentions in number 3.
Hold on, I gotta reach around my cat here. For my honorable mention, I'm gonna do Strange Academy number 4.
There you go.
This is always a fun book, month after month. It is still mostly just them going around the school, and they're still kind of doing a lot of establishing stuff, but they are starting to get the ball rolling on a proper confrontation. So
Yeah.
apparently there's all these swamp tree monsters that are pissed off that they're teaching magic to children, because there's only so much magic, damn it, and they shouldn't be squandering it on children. So that was a real treat for this book. There was a character from the Weird World limited series that came out a few years ago, Cat Beast.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, they spent some time in Weird World here, and
she came back.
Yeah, one of the main characters agreed to. He's like, "Oh, I'll show you the way back." It's like, okay. What do you want in return? Oh, let's not worry about that right now, since I'm the only one who can show you how to get back. So
it was cool. It had like this cool Alice in Wonderland sort of feel to it, and also like a familiar. Like this girl now has like, an animal familiar. So,
our protagonist, Emily Bright.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was good, not great for me. The first 3 issues I thought were better. Like you said, it's still trying to establish itself. I think it's done a good job of that already. I would have liked to have seen more of the big bads that they finally introduced in here, and less of them playing interdimensional tag. Although interdimensional tag was pretty damn fun.
Interdimensional tag was fun, but I will say that as someone who's in education myself, Zelma is not doing a great job teaching these kids right now. But because they do need to probably get that plot moving, that is why it's an honorable mention and not in my top 3.
Yeah, definitely.
For my number 3, I'm actually gonna do Batman 3 Jokers, number 3.
Oh, how'd that end?
Good art.
We've been down to 2 Jokers for a couple of issues now, and this one's centered around the criminal Joker, who they're saying is like the Golden Age Joker, trying to turn Joe Chill into the perfect Joker, one who is more wholly intertwined with Batman at a fundamental level. But the issue ends with Batman saving Joe Chill, and with the comedian Joker from The Killing Joke being the last Joker standing as he kills the other Joker. Apparently, he never had any intention of creating more Jokers because he thinks that it ruins the whole point of having a Joker in the first place if he has a damn reason behind him.
So is he the only Joker around now?
Theoretically, yeah, I suppose so. I guess
continuity.
I guess that door is
none of it's in continuity. But
none of it's in continuity, but taking it at face value, this could actually be in continuity.
It just depends if they decide or not later,
That door is open for them, I suppose. Sure. But since it's Black Label, it's not, I guess. Yeah. But I did actually kind of like the meta commentary.
So there's no big twist or anything in there?
There is another twist, I guess, that Joker's family from The Killing Joke, the one that they told him had died. Right. Turns out they'd actually been secreted away to Alaska, and they're there, and they're fine. Furthermore, Batman reveals that he's known who the Joker was this whole damn time, but that ultimately it does not matter. Oh, fuck off, Gomer. But either way.
I just didn't care for this.
I enjoyed the meta commentary on the Joker. I liked how both Batman and the last Joker here both are in agreement that it ultimately does not matter who the Joker is. Yeah. That he's just the Joker. That is who he is. That's who he's always going to be. And revealing his identity is meaningless at this point.
Agreed. There was that. I just didn't think that it... Just to give us only that, because there was great art.
If you were looking for some sort of big, mind-blowing payoff, then no, this book absolutely disappointed you in that.
Yeah, but where the genesis of the 3 Joker story comes from, an arc years ago that Jeff Johns did on Justice League, where Batman sits in the Mobius chair and he asks, who killed my parents? He's like, Joe Chill. He's like, all right, I was just testing you. And he's like, who's the Joker? And they're like, there are 3 Jokers. And then Jeff Johns gets on this. It feels like a massive bait and switch.
Okay, so if you're looking at this as the payoff to that years-long buildup, it's a disappointment.
It is,
If you're looking at this as some sort of earth-shattering revelation at the end, it's a disappointment. But if you're just looking at it under its own merits, and I think looking at it is kind of a meta commentary on the Joker and his relationship with Batman, I think it does that pretty well.
Yeah. Jeff Johns, he's done some
the price tag for each book.
Exactly.
But, if this had been like just $3.99 for each copy, it would have been a lot better. But judging the story completely on what's on the page, I liked it.
Jeff Johns is great. He's done some stuff that I am so happy to have read, but I think he's more like a Brian Michael Bendis at this point. His best days.
Yeah, his best days are over, and he's definitely he's not writing much more anyway.
Exactly. This was actually touted as his swan song at DC Comics. So he's going to do some creator-owned stuff.
It also helps a lot that Jason Fabak, who did the art for this book, did a great job. It's genuinely good to look at.
Awesome, dude. The art is just top notch in this. But all the Black Label books, I would say, have had damn good art.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Awesome. Me, number 2. I'm going to choose. I don't even know if you read this. The One You Feed, number 1. It came off a Panel Syndicate. It's Donny Cates, Dylan Burnett, Dean White, and John J. Hill. That's the same team who did God Country.
Can't go wrong with Donny Cates
Comics, which was an amazing story. And this is sort of the spiritual successor or spin-off of God Country. Big ass sword and everything. One day it becomes night, and people start turning into monsters. And over hundreds of years, you're either a monster or you're turned into a monster because of what you have to do to stay alive while all these monsters are going around. So 350 years later, centuries after, the first sighting of these monsters, there's a high-walled city. They've built this city with an artificial sun, so it's always daylight, even when it's nighttime. And the king's son, in order to be worthy of inheriting the throne, must spend the night out on the other side of the wall. And he gives him like this huge ass, like 12-foot tall sword, just like in God Country. The swords are called Atom, Attum. And all this, I'm sure, is going to come around eventually. This is a pay what you want over on panelsyndicate.com. Check it out. It's awesome. Not just for this book. They got Matt Fraction books up there. They got great titles over there. But man, I love this. It just typical Donny Cates, big ideas, big things going on. But it's all about the individuals. It's all focused on the person at the center of the story. And man, he just nailed it. He nailed it. And I'm so happy that I heard about this and I read it. It's, again, The One You Feed, number 1 over on Panel Syndicate. Donny Cates has another book coming out next week. It is also going to be in my top 3.
He's all over the place, man.
No way crossover, which I've already read, is not going to be in my top 3. It is that good. The hype. Believe the hype. It is damn good. For the same reasons. Big ideas, big plans, but still a focus on an individual character who is just compelling and intriguing and awesome. So that's my number 2. Adam.
All right. My number 2 was Ten of Swords. Stace's number 1.
Nice choice.
Yeah. It was great to see the bad guys finally. Love Pogger Pog. Nice to see Apocalypse get all pissed off with that whole card thing, getting all acting like a little baby a little bit.
He was so surprised at the
he was.
He wasn't reading the other issues of Ten of Swords, I guess.
He was dying. He was getting murdered.
Yeah.
By his kids.
I was actually going to put this one as my number 1. So yeah, I totally agree. It was a pretty awesome book.
Nice.
I especially like their interaction with the white sword.
He's a badass, dude.
Yeah,
he
I
totally
think
is.
Like his power is healing, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, I think. But yeah, he was probably my favorite of the Araco champions that they've shown so far.
Yeah.
And even though it was obvious this whole time that Genesis was Annihilation, Annihilation does play being the bad bitch really well. I like the whole thing where it's do you think I give 2 shits about your pride? Go get these people on our damn team and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pestilence and Famine hanging out at the council or whatever.
Yeah.
Pushing their weight.
That was
cool.
They're doing a great job selling what terrors these guys are. It's oh no, we didn't kill the people. We literally killed the country. The
whole place
of this
is
place.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
No, we didn't trash the room. We burned the fucking house down. Yeah, just very cool. Love the attitude of all the characters, and all these characters are basically new characters,
pretty much.
except for the mutants. You know, the X-Men that we all know and love. They're all pretty much new folks, or at least new spins on old folks that haven't been around in decades.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and it looked great. Fantastic
well done.
art.
Oh, dude, yeah. All right, good choice. Good choice. That was my number 3 pick. Taylor, what's your number 2 pick?
For my number 2, I'm doing Immortal Hulk, number 39.
Oh, nice. It seems to always be at the top of your.
I love this
week
book.
when it comes out.
It's
You love all the
consistently.
immortal stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, now that I've been on the show long enough, you guys can see that it's really just like a rotating style of
Yeah.
books for me.
I'm only reading like 5 books, but they're all the best books.
But Immortal Hulk, this one's taking place almost entirely inside of Banner's mindscape, and it's genuinely fascinating to see what they do in here. We have all the different personas duking it out. Devil Hulk is trashing Mastermind, but then Savage Hulk, the classic Hulk, he comes in, he's like, no, stop, don't hurt each other, because like apparently Mastermind at one point, the leader, at one point absorbed his dad, and that's the part that is, however they're assigning the different neuroses inside of Banner's mind, Savage Hulk is the one that still has the desire to be loved by his father, so he stopped the fight before it could happen, whereas Devil Hulk is the one who wants to destroy the guy for everything they put him through, but Savage Hulk won't let him do it. Apparently we're down. Planet Hulk is the one that's being controlled by the leader.
The leader, yeah.
Yeah, so he's there in that form, at least.
Cool.
It looks like we're down to Savage Hulk and Joe Fixit are the last Hulk standing inside the head right now. But yeah, it's genuinely great how they weave Banner's psychosis into the story here.
It's almost like a split personality sort of take.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Well, from the very beginning, Al Ewing said that he was trying to harken back to the earliest days of the Hulk comic, where it was very much a Jekyll and Hyde motif.
Yeah.
So I consistently love this book, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you that when 40 comes out, it's going to be in my top 3 too. Nice. I can already readily assume.
Al Ewing's been killing it with this. You know, when you get spin-offs and one-shots.
Oh yeah, you know you're doing something right.
He announced at some point that he thinks it's going to end with issue number 50. So we're getting pretty close to the end game on this one.
So 2021, that'd be a big deal, man. And then we won't see another Hulk book for a while.
Yeah, we're going into the home stretch.
No,
well, I'm sure they'll put another one out, but it might be one of those.
Be another one out right afterwards.
This is going to be similar to Jason Aaron's Thor run, where like I'm sure they'll do something else.
Yeah,
they'll do something else. I'm sure it'll. Like, they'll do something else, and I'm sure it'll be fine, but damn, it's going to be a tough act to follow.
Like Donny Cates on Thor, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great comparison, because, I like his stuff so far, but it's no Jason Aaron Thor.
Yeah. All right, that brings us around to the top books of the week.
Oh, I already did mine. So.
Instant classic.
I think mine's the same as yours, Gomer.
TMNT, The Last Ronin, #1.
Definitely, yeah. This was an instant classic. This is fantastic.
Oh my gosh, dude!
This is Escape from New York with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
and there's some Old Man Logan. In there, like Dark Knight Returns sort of deal. There's a lot in this, and it's basically us just exploring this far-flung future, this dystopian world, with, I'm sorry, spoiler alert, everybody's favorite turtle.
Mikey
is everybody's turtle. He's everybody's favorite. I don't care what you say. Everybody loves the party guy.
Mikey's like my 3rd favorite turtle.
If you were gonna hang out with a turtle,
nobody hates Mikey. He's never on the bottom of anybody's list.
There you go. So I'm playing the averages. In continuity, Michelangelo is the slacker. He's actually the best of the 4. He's actually the only one to master all of his brother's weapons. And he just makes the most sense because out of all of them, he would have the hardest time with losing his father and his brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we get to experience, him having the hard time.
Because he's definitely the most social out of all of them.
Yeah.
And, having nobody to talk to.
The way I don't think
after watching all your family die horribly.
Did you read this?
Mikey is the one who's definitely the most like emotionally dependent on the others.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Did you read this, Taylor?
And they showed that
not,
they show that in this issue.
This is another one of those trade watch things for me.
Sure.
Yeah, he's so emotionally dependent that he comes up in his mind, his brothers,
it's like their voices in his head.
Voices in his head, but they're actually like there. Talking to him.
They're not on panel, but their thought bubbles are on panel, and they go off panel. It's very well done the way they did it, and you can almost tell which brother it is, which turtle it is talking in the thought bubble.
Yeah, just off of what they're saying,
just from the writing, the style of it. Eastman and Laird were back for this. Tom Waltz was on it. Esau and Isaac Escorza doing it too. I just wanted to spit those names out.
Looked fantastic.
The art was perfect. It was extra big. It was like a $10 book, but man, it was so worth it. A lot of problems with this, with shortages. They are doing reprints of number 1, but they are still going to call them first printings just so they can meet the demand, the original demand for the book. I'm not sure if that's going to increase because of the demand now, because everybody's talking about this. But yeah, Taylor, you're saying you're going to trade weight?
Yeah.
This book, once it's collected, will never be out of print.
No, it never will be.
I'm telling you, it's one of those kind of books. It's an instant classic, and you don't see very many of those, where you can tell.
They'll probably make like an animated movie or something out of this.
Dude, it's that good. It is that cool, dude.
Well, I can't wait for them to, I guess, about a year from now when the trade comes up.
Right. It does have a little bit of continuity that you have to know. Of course, April shows up at the end, and she's older. But it's got Shredder's grandson.
She looks all battle worn too.
Yeah, she looks like she's been through hell.
So we got like Mad Max April O'Neil.
Kinda, yeah.
I am here for it. That sounds great.
She's still wearing the yellow jacket. I don't know how she do it. It can't be the original. Every year for Christmas, she gets the same thing. Like I get socks. She gets
a yellow jacket.
So yeah, those are it. Those are our number 1s. Taylor already called X-Men. So man, it was actually a pretty decent week for books in terms of the books we got.
In terms of quality, it was a good week.
There were
we
some
didn't get much
good quality books.
Yeah, we've had a few weeks in like the last few podcasts here where I was struggling mightily to like parse which one of these books that were just okay was going to be my number 1. But this week, it's a lot of good shit.
Yeah. And next week's even better. A lot of great books dropping next week. So yeah, let's wrap this baby. Thanks everybody for hanging out. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, check us out on those other platforms. Just search for Outright Geekery. We do a bunch of other shows. We have the Tuesday night preview show that we talked about. Our classic movie review show, Geekterion Collection. Top 5, where we talk about whatever the hell we want. Comic books, trade paperbacks, graphic novels is coming up, TBD, sometime this month of November. We also have Big Willie doing Creators Outlet and 5-minute reviews and OK Boomer and all kinds of other stuff. So yeah, thanks everybody for kicking it. Check us out on Patreon, outrightgeekery.com. Oh no, patreon.com/outrightgeekery. We just want $1 a month. Just a tip to hang out. We should try to get some exclusives over there. I know we keep saying that. But
we'll work on it eventually.
Yeah, we'll work on it eventually. As soon as we get someone over there actually giving us money, then we'll start doing something over there. But yeah, most of all, I want to thank these 2 jokers for hanging out with this joker.
Oh yeah, man. Anytime.
Always a pleasure.
Awesome.
3 jokers.
Yeah,
we're going to be down to 1.
We're the good 3 jokers. We're the well-written 3 jokers.
Are we well-written?
Better written than Jeff Johns did on 3 Jokers. I'm sorry, Taylor. That book was trash, dude. I hated that book. It was so bad. The art was wonderful.
I can't judge. I only read the first one.
I'm genuinely curious. Okay, so I guess I would be the criminal one since I'm genuinely the most dour, I guess, of the 3. Joker. Gomer's clearly a clown, so we'll go with him being the clown, which I guess leaves the comedian for Adam. So hey, Adam, you get to be the one that's the last one standing after the.
But you also shot Barbara Gordon in the back, so fuck you. That's okay. But yeah, we're gonna do it again next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel.
Oh.
I love how our numbers shot up to 5 as we were like, same geek time. Say thanks, everybody.
They got here just in time.
Just in time for the best part.